What's the real difference between a beginner and an intermediate when they're soloing? Let's break it down. First, we'll look at all of these differences side by side. Then I'll show you how to overcome each one to make sure you're on the right path to become a full-fledged intermediate soloer. We'll start with the beginners. They tend to think in scale shapes and not in individual notes. They rely mostly on copied licks. There's very little use of a dynamic range, and they tend to be limited to playing just one note at a time. Intermediates, on the other hand, know how to break scales down into their individual notes. Instead of relying on copied licks, they're able to create their own licks. They make use of many of the dynamic tools at their disposal, and they know how to play more than one note at a time when they're soloing. So if you feel like your soloing falls more into that beginner category, I'm going to give you steps for each of the points that we just covered to help you bridge that gap from beginner to intermediate. We'll start with point number 1. Intermediates know how to break their scales down into the individual notes. Now, there are a bunch of different directions we can kind of attack this from, but the most practical one is through something called targeting chord tones. Let's take my absolute favorite scale to solo with, the A minor or C major scale. Now, I can play any of the notes from that scale in the key of A minor or C major, and they'll all sound good. But what an intermediate player would do is they would know that rather than just targeting the key of the chord progression you're playing over, is that you can actually target the individual chords. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play a small little triad shape, and that is going to show you the 3 chord tones for each chord within this key. There are 7 chords that naturally occur in the key of C major or A minor. That is C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. So we're going to locate this little shape for each of those chords within that scale. Here's our C major triad. Here's our D minor triad. Here's our E minor triad. Here's our F major triad. Here's our G major triad. Here's our A minor triad. And then lastly, here is our B diminished triad. And the idea is not to play those triads necessarily over each chord, but it's to highlight those notes as each chord goes by. So let's say the C major chord comes along. Well, we play one of the notes in that C major triad. Then we go and we run off, we play other notes within the scale, and then the G major comes, we play 1 or 2 of the notes from the G major triad, and then we play more random notes or a lick that we know or something, and then we kind of connect these chord tones as we move through the progression. The next thing that intermediates can do is create their own licks, and this can be as simple or complex as you want it to be. It's really just about turning your scale into actual music. Our first approach is to get used to changing directions at random times. So to start, you would just pick any note within the scale, start the scale, and then turn around at that point. Just like that. Now I'd pick a different note, and then maybe I'd go the other direction. A different note. Something like that. Once you get comfortable with this, you want to actually start at random points within the scale. So let's say now I'm going to start at this note, and I'm going to have my turnaround point be up here. Like that, or something in the other direction. Let's say I want to start on this note, and I'm going to turn around here. Where this really starts getting cool is when you combo it with the other approach, which is just as simple as sometimes skipping over notes. Simply skipping notes is where you create something called intervals. We're just going to pick a random note to skip over when we play through this scale. We'll do this one right here. Get used to doing this with just one note, then eventually you can have multiple notes within the scale that you're skipping over, or you can make large gaps so you can skip a bunch of notes in a row. It's totally up to you what you do, but what this is going to do is it's going to start creating these intervals that create melodies, and then when you combo it with the direction change stuff, well, all of a sudden you're going to be creating your own licks. Another big difference between beginner and intermediate solos is that the intermediate solos tend to use a lot of dynamics, and there are a bunch of different ways that we can add dynamics to our solos. And the first one is through velocity. Velocity is just how hard we pick the string. And this is pretty straightforward. Sometimes we want to emphasize notes by picking it a little harder. We can also add these dynamics through techniques like vibrato or bending, or even just sliding up to a note. That's obviously going to emphasize those notes that we apply it to. Another great way to add dynamics is to use the full range of the fretboard. So a lot of beginners are very stuck within that one scale shape that they learn, but there's a really easy way to kind of break free of that and start moving in both directions, and it's called the diagonal pentatonic scale. So if we go to our standard pentatonic first, this one right here in A minor or C major, well, traveling through it, we have the diagonal pentatonic scale. And this is using all the same notes from our regular pentatonic. We're obviously starting on a different note and ending on a different note, but now we're using a lot more of the fretboard. And you can imagine when we are now improvising or soloing, we have this central area, but now we can access more low notes. And we can build our way up to something higher. Our next intermediate goal is to play more than one note at a time. Now, you're probably thinking about lead guitar is just playing individual notes to create melodies, but double stops are a really great way to kind of elevate your solos. So double stops are just playing two notes at a time sometimes. And there's a very easy way to do this. We're going to go back to our C major / A minor full scale here. So this is not the pentatonic, the one that looks like this. And what we can do is occasionally play more than one note at a time. And a great way is actually to do a little bar with our first finger. This is really cool. It's going to sound great. Play those two notes there and then hammer on that note there, just like that. Then we're going to do the exact same thing down a string set and then down another string set. And this sounds really cool when you're soloing. When you add some of those in, you can go up to. That's a very easy, accessible way to do it, but you can really play any two notes at a time that you want. Since all of these notes exist within a shared scale, they are all safe to play around with. So it's totally up to you to experiment and find which combinations of notes are going to sound the best. So the day that this video gets uploaded is actually my birthday, and I'm doing a special little celebration thing this week where I've put my full-length soloing course, Soloing Made Simple, on a crazy 50% off sale. So if you're at all interested in learning to solo with me officially, then check out the link at the top of the description. It's the best price this course will ever be, so don't miss out. All right, as far as next steps, I'd recommend you watch this lesson on making your scales sound more musical. You'll see a link to that up in the middle of your screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.